the late-night crowds where I would find the boys I was sure I could turn from bad to good. But what started out as a typical Friday night turned into a nightmare no one will ever forget.
Rosie was quite independent. She was 5'2". She thought she was 6'5".
Rosie's mother was very adamant that something bad had happened to her daughter.
Hey guys, it's Lavender here. Welcome back to my channel. It's Lavender here, and today I am back with a new true crime case because throughout October I'm going to be doing way more true crime videos just because it's spooky season and who doesn't like a good true crime story? So let's get started in this video. So here we go. So today I'm doing a case that I saw on Forensic Files by, I think it was called Out of the Ashes, I think the Forensic Files episode was called or whatever. And it is the story of murder victim Rose Larner murder. And this case is actually about sex, drugs, and teenage cannibalism. So let's get started into the story. So here we go. So this case has been featured in, I think, lots of media and TV shows. I know for a fact that it was in Forensic Files. I think the episode is called Forensic Files Out of the Ashes, if I'm correct. Just look up Rose Larner and it'll come up, the episode. And I know she was, I think, featured in one show. I don't really remember what the show is called, but it was on Investigation Discovery. Yeah, those are the media that she was in. And so here's a little background to Rose and leading up to what happened to her and the results that happened to her afterwards. So here we go. This is her story. This is Rose Larner's story. So here we go. A little backstory. Her family called her the Vampire, a name that fit the wiry 18-year-old. She was giving and warm, but yet hot-headed and temperamental. Rose, whose parents who had divorced when she was 4, Rose spent more time on the phone than doing almost anything. She talked for hours to friends, and it would cost a whole lot in the phone bill. And later, Bailey became Rose's best friend. As Bailey would put it, we were inseparable. We linked to ride the bus to the mall, she said. We got in a fight a week, but we were still friends. Rose would always call me and make up. They went to stores such as the Quality Dairy for frozen Cokes, gum, and half-price ice cream every Tuesday. They shared gossip and stories and their dreams and hopes and disappointments. They even shared the same birthday, August 19th. Rose went home. She landed her first job at Kentucky Fried Chicken on South Logan. Later on, Rose had disappeared out of nowhere. Rose just disappeared. No one heard from her. No one had seen her, not even her friends. She was just gone. Her parents weren't too worried because usually she would just hang out with her friends or she liked to be out and stuff. Rose did like to run the streets and hang out with her friends. However, what sparked them to know that there was something truly wrong is that she talked on the phone all the time. The phone calls stopped happening, and Rose never showed up to her work at the pizzeria she worked at later on. She also never picked up her last paycheck. She loved her job, and she loved her paycheck, and she liked talking on the phone to friends. And that's when her parents and her friends knew that there was something clearly wrong. Rose had popped into a convenience store on about 1:20 a.m. to touch base before spending the night with friends, a practice that had become a way of her life for the night owl whose family dubbed her again the Vampire. She was determined to walk despite the winter chill. And that was the last time that friends and family had seen her. But for nearly 3 years, no one knew what happened to Rose. All that was known of the 18-year-old Larner had gone missing. Rose had gone missing. Rose had been in a relationship with a local rapper named John Ortiz Kehoe. Kehoe decided that he wanted to end the relationship, and Rose wasn't too happy about that and continued to pester him after the fact, and Kehoe tried to ignore her. Rose continued to badger Kehoe and get back together with him, but he wasn't having any of that. Her disappearance sparked a massive search. After her family reported Rose missing, searchers scouted fields and lakes with divers, explored the depths of lakes and local bodies of water. They checked alleyways and just land and stuff, and a police investigation that caught a break with a drop of blood in the bathroom where she died. For years, Billy Brown and John Ortiz Kehoe had kept quiet about what happened that night, But as investigators started to close in, he felt the heat, so Brown told the police what had happened to Larner, Rose. In the early hours of a Tuesday in December 1993, Rose Larner was strangled in the shower, and her throat was slit by Kehoe, and her body was cut apart. And later, some 100 miles north in a remote section of Galswin County, her body was burned to ashes and cremated. The three had spent the evening together driving through the county before heading back to the home of Kehoe's grandparents near Albin. Rose and Kehoe, who had previously dated, had sex several times that night on the drive to her house. The three stopped at a store where Kehoe bought, unknown to the other two, a fillet knife, a charcoal lighter fluid, a hatchet, and trash bags. The three spent time outside the home and then walked inside, where they took a shower together. As Larner was brushing her hair after, Kehoe walked up behind her and strangled her with a cord. He then slit her throat when she was unconscious in the shower with a knife. Kehoe, wearing only boxer shorts, rinsed pints of blood from Rose's body with a hose and then got a hatchet and a block of wood. Brown, hearing whacking, and he saw Kehoe hacking at her body. Brown later stated that he saw Kehoe chop Rose's body apart and start to burn it in the basement fireplace to cremate it. You can still see the shape of the skull, but most of it was ashes, Brown later stated. The two men then cleaned up the house. However, Sammy, a friend of Kehoe's, was at the door. His girlfriend, too. The couple came inside and visited for an hour. However, the couple was unaware that Kehoe and Brown, that in the bathroom, Rose's body was dismembered torso was still in the shower stall around the corner. And they put her remains later, after Sammy and his girlfriend left, into a trash bag and started driving north to a property that Brown's family owned. They built a fire pit and burned the remains for 10 hours, cremating the remains. At one point, Brown later testified that Kehoe took some of her flesh while it was burning from the fire, and he put it on a piece of bread and put some mustard on it and ate it, which is cannibalism. The two later drove back south. The two of them then drove back south, spreading Rose's ashes along the roadside and highways. He later stated, Brown said that some of Rose's ashes went to a dumpster at a rest area. On April 1996, the detectives started to close in. Police said there was a plan to firebomb Brown's house that Kehoe wanted to do after he spoke to investigators. By that point, the search was on for Kehoe. His arrest came in Mexico, just across the Texas border, ended a 4-month manhunt into looking for Kehoe. Brown pleaded guilty to being accessory after the murder and was sentenced to a year in jail. Kehoe testified in his 1997 trial, denying that he killed Larner and ate her flesh. As he was convicted of first-degree murder, he now serves a life without possibility of parole at the Thumb Correctional Facility in Leeper. He's had 5 misconduct violations in a state prison since, including fighting, possession of dangerous contraband, and assault and battery. I actually saw a YouTube channel that I think he made that's on YouTube. So I think if that is him, then like, what the fuck? Like, he has his own YouTube channel. So yeah, if you guys want to find his YouTube channel, just look up his name, the Kehoe guy, and he has a whole YouTube channel. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye guys, see you next video.